Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Welcome to this new episode of HumanityWins.net, and I'm very glad and honored to have here two friends, Jeannie from Australia and Tony from London. Hello, Jeannie.
Hey, Alex.
Hello, Tony.
Hi, Alex. Nice to see you, mate. And Jeannie. Hi.
Tony.
Thank you, guys. First of all, thank you because we're connecting here Mexico, the UK, and Australia. So you can imagine the time differences. Tony is 7 hours ahead from me. Jeannie is 16 hours ahead from me. So thank you guys for accepting these all hours. And I look forward to a great show, same as you. So Jeannie, if you want to start, we were talking about the topic of expectations, you put on people and people put on you. And then we're gonna move on into forgiveness and the topic of suicide. But if you want, let's start with the topic of expectations. What do you think expectations are? Why do we always seem to fail expectations of people on us, and people fail expectations we put on them?
Yeah, well, I thought of this because several years ago when I had another relation breakup, I'm not lucky with relationships. But anyway, this psychic actually said to me, you have to drop your expectations. Like, don't expect anything. And at the time, I didn't quite get it. It was like, so I can't expect to be treated nicely. Okay. But years later, I realized what the person meant. They were saying, with a relationship, new job, new friend, whatever, don't build it up into something, just go with the flow. In other words, don't think this is going to be fantastic, or, so I sort of, and it's like a defense mechanism to ensure that you don't get hurt as well, or, less hurt, yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
But once somebody actually says to you, I'm going to do this, or I promise to do this, and they don't follow through, is that the time where we think, well, yeah, I think my expectations were quite valid because you said you would do this. Or once again, because that builds in, well, a lack of trust. Well, you said you'd do that, but I'm going to have no expectations. So I won't believe you'll do it until you do it, sort of thing. So I think there's false expectations, and then expectations which are quite valid depending on what someone is telling you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Tony, what do you think of that?
That's a really good insight Jeannie's made there. I think what I get is it's like an evolution of your own self in not just relationships, but it's just relationships with people, and even life. Life, like we said before the chat, it's like a roller coaster. We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what's coming. So we just do our best. And when someone promises you something, yeah, we'll get a mortgage together, or we get married this time, or whatever it is, and then they let you down, it's a trust issue. So it seems at the time a really big, betrayal. And, this person's a liar, and how do I trust anyone anymore? But it's a blessing in disguise, as I see it, because it makes you more reliant on yourself. It turns your attention to yourself, and the only one who can actually make you happy, rather than putting it out there to this person or that person or this job or this political party, something out there. And it's a deep subject, because I think what you're saying, Jeannie, is over time you end up looking at people and thinking, well, I don't trust anyone anymore, or how can I trust anyone? And that is the trick. You don't have to, and you shouldn't, from personally speaking. So I realised I don't expect anything of anyone. And it took me a long time to get there. I don't expect anything. And it's a hard concept to come to terms with, because you're taught, do this, do that, get a mortgage, live together, go on holiday together, And when you get betrayed or let down so many times, you keep coming back to yourself, but you still go out there to follow these storylines that they put on us, to give it another go, try again. So I've become like not a hermit, but I think I'm over with relationships. Maybe someone that come along and will knock me off my feet and be. It could. Who knows? It's a roller coaster, but I'm more secure in myself for the betrayals and the things that have happened to me. It's made me stronger because I know only I can make the choices for me. You know, that's my little view on it.
Yeah,
It's a good subject.
I mean, you get to a point where you think, well, this didn't kill me, this didn't kill me. I'm building up all this strength. How strong do I have to be? Like, how many lessons do I have to learn? You know. But yeah, Alex, I'll let you.
Yes, thank you, Jeannie. All relationships are so difficult, I think. As I said, I've been married for 21 years. So, I mean, I need to go back to another time, another galaxy, really. I mean, a long time ago to remember all this stuff. But yes, I mean, as I share on the show I had only with you, I mean, I've been an asshole on relationships and also suffered heartbreaks. I think relationships are kind of special in the sense there is no contract, okay? We want to believe, for example, getting married, that's some security. No, not really. I mean, that's why there are divorces. Or you can just leave, even if legally you're still married, you could be separated. There is no guarantees you're going to have a person beside you. I'm not saying it's not what you did, Jeannie. Please, I need to explain before I say this. I'm not saying you're at fault. These things happen, but I do believe relationships are so hard that you have to work at them every day, okay? So, in a sense, even in marriage, they evolve, that they start with a lot of, I'm not saying that there's no more affection at the end, but it evolves in more like a friendship and, and the trust you put in your wife or husband after many years. And of course, there's affection, but not like at the beginning. That was the whole point. That was the expectation, talking about the expectations. Mm-hmm. So for me, with relationships, I've suffered the same thing you suffered, Jeannie, that things were told to me. I was in the UK, come back to Mexico, and we'll be together. And I'll very wrong to be in a three-way relationship. But I was told that the other person will be out of the relationship, and that didn't happen. And when you question that, you're never going to win that. Actually, that's not the way to win it. I think you're already lost there. And of course, there's going to be justifications, because people that do this kind of things to you, then they get to the point they have to win. Okay, they know they're wrong, but they have to win the argument. They have to leave the relationship winning in their mind by saying, "No, you got it wrong. Oh, I never said that. Oh, you misunderstood me, or whatever. I changed my mind. So F you. I mean, okay, I'm leaving. So you be like whatever way you want." So I think relationships, and that's why there's right now here in my city, my area, there's a record divorces, and they're saying to young people, think about getting married, okay? Because it's a big step, and especially there are children involved then. Because there are a lot of that after a few years, 3 years, 5 years, they're getting divorced and like it's nothing. And when there's children involved, there's something, okay? There's something, because then you involve a third party, and in a way it's always difficult to be part of a broken home, and then your mother gets remarried or whatever is with someone, and you have your dad and you see him on Saturdays or whatever. It's when you involve other people, then it gets wrong, okay? So I think I would like to speak about expectations or with other type of relationships like friendships. And I don't mean to come always back to the example I gave of the dethronement I had, but he was a really good friend of mine, I really appreciate him. That's why I accepted the investment. Yeah. But before accepting the investment, paperwork, and we went to a notary, all that, legal things. But for me, the most important part was a talk we had eye to eye, that I said to him, I cannot lose this money. I can accept not winning any money, okay, but I need to have this back some way, somehow, and I need you to guarantee that, okay, this is my expectation. And we look eye to eye, and he gave me his hand, and for me, that's a contract. For me, that verbal thing, I know in some countries that's a verbal contract, okay, but for me, it was like a hard contract of saying, and he said, yes, doesn't matter what I need to do. If I need to get a loan or something, you will get your money back 100%, and I didn't. So, not by any means, not even close, okay? I would have accepted 90%, 80%, no, not even close. So for me, it's the expectation you put. And that's why I say, in that case, the best thing I could do is transmute all that horrible negativity that I felt for this person for breaking that contract, for breaking that expectation, into neutral. And maybe in a way, I'm kind of preparing the ground here for forgiveness,
Yeah.
which I see it more as forgetting, okay? Because in a universal way, the universe, these relationships we have, yes, of course, they're important. But if you forget the trauma that was caused on you, you are helping out the universe, okay? I know this sounds strange. How am I helping? How does the universe care? It does care, because the universe, at the end, the purpose of the creator is to have a universe that is only about love, that there's no karma and there's no trauma, okay? Karma are the misdeeds and trauma are the effects of the misdeeds. So if you help out by saying, yes, karma created trauma on me, but I'm electing to truly forget it, you are helping out, okay? You're doing your part. And I see forgiveness. Sure, I mean, in a human way, in a societal way, it involves informing the person that I forget you. I don't even see that as necessary. If you truly forget, sorry, I forgive you, I wanted to say. If you truly forget, then you are actually truly forgiving and you're actually clearing the effects of that trauma on you. And that's the only thing you can do. Not the best, the only thing you can do. You cannot, I don't think you can do better than that, okay? The karma to be cleared is on the other person, on the other being, on the one that created the heartbreak, on the one that broke your heart. That's on the other person to clear those misdeeds, okay? But that's a whole different subject, okay? That's something very personal, and that involves self-forgiving, and that involves maturing. Because if you don't understand what you did, and you promise yourself you're never going to do it again, I mean, if you are out there breaking hearts, one after one, then you're not really forgetting, and you're not really forgiving yourself, and you're not really maturing. But if you stop doing that, then you help the universe, because that's what the universe wants, for you to stop doing bad deeds. It doesn't care about the reparations of the individual situation, because again, as I just explained, if you clear the trauma, you have cleared the reparations, okay? So I hope it makes sense. I'm sorry I went very deep on this one, but it's a subject I'm very fond of. Okay?
Yeah. Like we were saying before, I think there's valid expectations. Like in your case, Alex, if somebody does look you in the eye and virtually promises, and they just do not follow through, I think you have a right to expect something from them, is what I'm getting at. But if you just generally have an expectation about how something will go, like a new job, or how your parents should have raised you, or things like that, just generally, it's best not to have high expectations, I guess. Because once again, it's like you're putting up a sort of a fence to defend yourself, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to leave it to Tony, but I think if you put high expectations, you're setting yourself for failure. Yeah, Tony, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, was it Jeannie had some more to say?
No, Tony. No,
I think it's your chance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you hadn't finished, yeah. Yeah, I think it's life we're talking about here, because I think sometimes you say opposites attract, and people gravitate to people they resonate with, or they admire, or attracted to some way. And it's like a natural karma system. It's like I was gravitated towards a girl who I felt she was very attractive and loving and all the right qualities for a girlfriend. And at the time, we were young and it was great. We were together, usual things, and we changed as individuals. And that's natural, evolution. And what we don't put into the equation is, oh, I'm going to change over time. She's going to change over time. Therefore, maybe our expectations need to change as well, because we're sticking to an old past expectation set in stone. And it's kind of like we meet, like I say, two ships passing in the night. You meet someone, you go along together for a while, you learn from each other, then you part, because that was the course. It was, I don't know, divine, ordained. I'm being a bit grandiose here, but people meet, you know what I mean? And maybe there's a meaning behind it, a divine meaning, in that we put together, without our knowledge, conscious knowledge, for those spiritual lessons that we're meant to learn on Earth, on this plane. Because otherwise we wouldn't meet that person. No, I don't want to know. I'm not learning that stuff. I'm going over here instead. So we're unbeknownst put together, and we talk, because the person one of my exes, she would never admit that, you know, she would never give me an inch. It was like, you're wrong, and we'd battle it out, and sometimes she was wrong, sometimes I was wrong, and it was great because I had to admit my own shortcomings. I had to admit when I was being, you know, deceitful or treacherous or not totally honest, whatever it was, and I'd have to sit on my own. I don't like this. Is that really me? And it was great because she's a strong character, and she put me through the mill. Honestly, the good and the bad. It was great, but she had that granite about her, and I think that's why we meet people. Like opposites attract, or we resonate with people, we gravitate to people for a spiritual reason. And once those lessons are learned, could be 50 years we're there. It could take years, or we could get it over and done within a couple of years. And it's like, okay, you don't need to know this person. They don't need to know you anymore. They're on their spiritual path. So are you. Here's your next lesson. And that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, spot on. I totally agree. And you either evolve together or you part ways. But for me, I know the lessons that I keep having to learn, and somehow I haven't quite learned them yet, so they keep coming up.
Yeah.
And I can see that so clearly. So this is what spirit does. They bring you in. It's like a test. Okay, here's this person now. They're much like that person back there. But Jeannie, will you still ignore the red flags, which I did, and because they're a bit different in some ways, and you think, oh, but they've got this about them and blah blah. But what about all this crap over here, Jeannie? You know?
Yes.
And now it's like, oh, okay, universe, yeah, I know.
Yeah. When will we take our power back? It's like, I seem to fall for the needy, well, not needy, but the demure, the petite, sweet girls who are granite underneath, and they turn out to be a real handful. And I'm like, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
It's like, when do I learn? And I keep doing it.
Yeah. Well,
so
this
that's
is right,
the lesson, I think.
Yeah,
for
sure. Something, if I may, something Alex said about if you forget, I think you said that's similar to forgiving. Am I right there, Alex? Because
I think again, I wanna clarify, because I've been recently taken out of context a little bit. So not a little bit, a lot, and that has happened since I had a channel since last year. So I need to clarify myself, and I apologize for the ones that already got it, that these are just my feelings, my intuitions. I'm not saying this mainstream information or this is the rule of law, this is what you should do, by the way. Because also someone right now thinks that I'm saying people what to do, and that was never the case. It's just a guy saying his feelings, and this is the intention of the show. It's an opinion show, even on these chats, okay? So I believe, Jeannie, I truly believe from my heart that by you forgetting, you are forgiven, okay? That the forgiving act is more a personal thing. It's more a human thing. It's part of this reality only, that you have to go to the person and say, by the way, I don't recall recently, at least maybe years ago, but recently going to someone, I forgive you or something like that. I don't think that's necessary, okay? That's more, that has to do a little bit with the ego maybe, or both ways. So you pamper the ego of the other person. Oh, I was forgiven, or you showing the other person, hey, you know, I'm this beautiful guy that I'm forgiving you. I don't think that's necessary. Because at the end, I mean, usually forgiveness works actually the other way around. I think you ask for forgiveness, okay? And how is that working anyway? I mean, if you have to ask for forgiveness, does it really work? Is that gonna move the person to forgive you if they don't really want to forgive you? You're setting yourself for failure. That you say to the person, hey, please forgive me, I was wrong. That's good information, but the person could say, no, I don't forgive you, okay? And that's gonna, if you are resonating in that, that's gonna hurt you more than help you out. I mean, if you really, forgiveness, I think, works the way of forgetting. You were impacted with trauma, okay, from an action, any action, okay? We tend to put a lot of value on sexual abuse, on defraudment, but there's also relationship trauma, heartbreaking, you know, offending, attempting to offend, all of these things, all of those, thinking of someone in a bad way, that's a misdeed. Even the other person doesn't realize it. Energetically, universally, that's a misdeed, okay? That's something you're gonna have to deal with. So by you, recipient of trauma, consciously, truly forgetting. And what I want to say, because I also could get in trouble here, why do you keep bringing up this deferment? That means you haven't forgotten. No, it's a different thing. Of course, I'm always going to remember it. But for me, every time I bring it up, I don't get upset. So I truly forgot it. So energetically, it's neutral. It's like remembering, something from 5 years ago, an event of the world. It's neutral to me.
Yeah.
It's not that every time that I bring it up, I get upset. No, I truly don't. So I have transmuted that bad energy into neutral energy. It's not positive. Like, that's impossible. And that I don't think how that works. I don't know how that works. I'm sorry. But every time, you could remember a relationship, for example, from 10 years ago, Jeannie. And if you have truly forgotten, when you remember it, it's neutral. Like saying, yes, I know this person. I was with this person 10 years ago. And you can say, and she broke my heart, and she hurt me, but I'm fine remembering this. But if you start getting upset and you start talking bad about the other person, and then you go into specifics, and you haven't truly forgotten. So the trauma is there, and the only person that trauma is hurting you is you. So it works for you to truly forget, and that for me is true forgiveness. The other type of forgiveness is something we have here, and it's more a personal thing of saying, hey, do you forgive me? Yes, I forgive you, and we're friends again. If we forget about the issue, we're still friends, okay? So I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought you meant. I think it's easy to forgive people if they are genuinely sorry, like if they apologize, and depending on what it is, but if they apologize and they mean it, those sort of things you can forgive. Never forgive a narcissist once you realize they are, because and still, well, people can choose to forgive. I shouldn't say that. People can choose if they want, but what I mean is don't forgive them and stay with them, because they'll do it again. Those types of people, right? So for me, Jesus won't like me very much because I can't love my enemies, right? But for me, it's not. I won't forgive certain types of people. What I will do is forgive myself for staying too long or putting myself through it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Forgive me. I'm not going to forgive someone who deliberately keeps doing horrible things and they know they're doing it. Why should I forgive them?
Tony, do you mind if I interject something? And
Go for it.
I'll give it to you. It's just the Jesus reference. I see it a little bit different, Jeannie. I think you can love your assailants and everyone.
If people want to, go for it.
Even you, because maybe we're confusing what is love. I do believe you cannot have a relationship with someone that has hurt you. But if you send your light and love generally to the world, you're also sending them to them. You're sending them to everyone, okay? To everyone, to the ones in charge, to everyone. Yeah, so if you elect not to have any negative energy in you, you are loving everyone by design. So I think, I'm sorry, I think that was the intention of the story of Jesus Christ, which I've shared, that I believe an alternate story, not in the Bible, that Jesus Christ, he hung with robbers, he hung with prostitutes, he hung with people that society will see as unwanted, because his intention was, how are they less than us? How are they less than you, judging them? They're equal. They have made some mistakes, sure, love them. That doesn't mean you're going to have a relationship with the prostitute or the robber. That means not judging them, not hating them, not sending bad energy. Just make them neutral, okay? That's the way I see it. Yeah. Not necessarily they are the kings of the world now, which is what is happening right now with this. I'm not going to say the word because I want this channel to go on all platforms, this chat to go on all platforms. But this word going around that, for example, people some from ethnicities can rob stores and it's fine because, they have been suffering for so long, and people from some genders can do whatever they want because they have suffered from so long. And this movement that is doing the opposite, saying the ones that do bad actually are the ones that deserve the most now. No, you do good because you're a beautiful, loving being, and the universe is expecting you to learn from your mistakes, mature, and at the end, that's true repent. When you, for example, I'm going to give an awful example. Let's say I killed someone in a past life, okay? And I had this discussion, I think, with Tony, I don't remember if privately or on a show, that what happens if someone is threatening you? Mahatma Gandhi, I truly believe he was so evolved, so mature, that he said, shoot away. So if I shoot you back, okay, what happens is I do the circle of karma, trauma, karma, trauma, karma, trauma, karma, forever, okay? So you shoot me, you create karma, and you create trauma on me. But I shoot you back before you shoot me or something, we kill each other. I create karma on me, and I create trauma on you, okay? So I keep the karma going, I keep the suffering going by shooting back. If I elect to say, I know I'm going to go on forever anyway, so yes, you're interfering with me, you're ending my experience, shoot back. I know it's very difficult, and people are going to say, this guy's crazy to say that we shouldn't defend each other on a life or that situation. I'm just explaining how I think it works, that's why you mustn't hate anyone, because you create karma on you and you create trauma. So how about you try to create the less karma you can on you and the less trauma out there? Just be neutral, because that doesn't create any, and be positive. And that doesn't create any as well, but that's a good thing to do. I mean, to be loving to your family, to your friends, to enjoy them, to do things that work for you. That's all positive. To watch a game, a soccer game, to have a beer, that's neutral. You're not killing anyone. But to be thinking of reliving the past, and I was abused, and I was defrauded, and I was, and I know I say the defraudment, but I use it as an example. Trust me, I don't go my day saying, oh, I was defrauded. No, I try not to. And when it happens, I immediately because that's my mind, I immediately put a stop to it and say, stop and go on. Keep rolling. Don't dwell on it, because that's the cycle, okay? Trauma, karma, trauma. I mean, we help the cycle, the negative cycle, by partaking on it. So I know it's difficult stuff, and trust me, I'm just a work in progress, and I'm still figuring out, but I'm very inspired by the story of Mahatma Gandhi, because I think he got it. He said, violence is never the option. Violence is, you cannot build by destroying. You cannot build by defending with violence. You defend with peace. And if that gets you killed, that gets you killed, okay? But you didn't partake on the cycle of trauma and karma. I know, Jeannie, it's very...
I'm all for self-defense. If someone's coming at me...
No, I know. I'm just sharing how I see it. And I'm sure if someone puts a gun to me, if someone threatens my family, I'm going to react. But I just need to accept I'm going to be partaking or keeping the cycle going, okay? So that lesson is still not learned, okay? I know. Maybe that was the test that Jesus said, put to some on the Bible, that, take your kid out there. This kind of test to say, you never partake on the cycle of suffering, on the cycle of negativity. Never. I think that's the message. Am I perfect? No. But for example, if someone makes a mistake and, and someone, yes, I'm a human. For 5 seconds, I'm upset, but I try to calm myself and just say, is this really helping someone? Is this really just, no, is this really helping me? Am I helping someone with this? No. So put it away and keep going. Okay. So, Tony, you were going to say something? No? Jeannie?
No? Jeannie, you want to come back on that?
I get what you're saying about Jesus. That was partly a joke on my part. But, and obviously, loving your enemy doesn't mean hanging around them and having picnics.
Exactly.
Obviously, and for me, I think everyone needs a grieving period if something bad happens to them. And there's bad and then there's horrific, right? And I know putting out hate is not good. I totally get that. When I know I'm healed, is like I think about a person and I'm indifferent. I don't feel anything. It's just, whatever. That's what I know. I've healed. But then, I mean, there's ex-partners and stuff, and then there's the evil people in the world. They're on a whole different level, right? And it's like, well, do I hate them? I know it's a strong word. It's a horrible word, but would I care if they fell off a cliff? No. Should I wish for that? I don't know. I wish they'd stop. And if that means someone takes them out. I mean, look what they're doing. I'm not going to heaven.
No, no, Jeannie, that doesn't work that way anyway. No, Jeannie, I totally understand. And sorry, Tony, if I take you
I'm not
here
that
just for a
forgiving.
second.
Oh, that's cool.
No, that when you said something that resonated immediately with me. Do I care if they fall off a cliff? It's not our job, Jeannie. I mean, some
Well,
people
you
get
know what I mean.
that is the job to protect the world, that they're like policemen of the universe. So, and that's when they start attacking whoever is controlling us. Okay, I'm trying not to say the word again, so this goes out on all platforms. But we all know who I'm talking about. Okay, the ones in charge. Some people say hate them and attack them and resist and all that, and I say, how about we're neutral? Okay, whatever they have done, they have done. Do we care if they do good? No, that doesn't make a bad person. I think sending your love is sending your best wishes and basically saying whatever happens, it's not up to me. It's on you. And I'm sorry to go deep again, but I do believe the Creator made this universe. He could have made it in several ways, but he says it's going to be so boring if I just create loving beings with no free will. With no free will to making mistakes. Okay. So he gave us all free will. We can all do what as we want. I'm not telling anyone what to do or what to think, by the way. I need to clarify that over and over again. These are just how I feel. That doesn't mean you have to feel like me. But in a way, through that free will process, I believe the learning is we have to behave at the end like the Creator wanted us, which is loving. Okay. So we have to make mistakes. That's a given. I don't think suffering is implied. That's more of a religion type thing of you suffer and you learn through suffering. No, you can learn by making mistakes, by understanding your mistakes, by maturing, by learning, and by truly repenting. When you have done all those things, I think that's true repent. Because when you say, yes, I was wrong. And yes, I make mistakes. I'm imperfect. I forgive myself. But I'm not going to do it again. That's true repent. If you say, yes, I was wrong, and I repent, I'm sorry. Again, apology for, I'm sorry, forgot the word now. We're saying the forgiveness part, asking for forgiveness. I asked for forgiveness. I was wrong, Well, you know what? I presented on the same situation 1 year after, and I do the same exact thing. So why did I ask for forgiveness a year ago if I was going to do it again? And that's the whole concept of confession, particularly in the Catholic religion, that I don't understand, that I question priests about it, and they don't like it when you do that. Because it's not for you to understand. I say, how does that work? I come to you. I share what I've done wrong. You put some penance on me, some penalty, and then I do it, and then all is good. So I can keep doing whatever I want because I come to you and you clear my sins with penalties, a summation system. And that's why I disagree. This is not, I killed a few people, but then I give $1 million to a charity in Africa. So it works out. I help some people and affected some people. It works out. Yeah. No, you have $1 million to give it to Africa, please. And that doesn't get you any points with anyone. Okay. That's what you're supposed to do. And you kill some people. That's something you are going to eventually have to look at, to understand, and mature that you are not that. That's not the way of the Father. That's not how you were created in love. So when you do that and truly repent, you are never going to do it again. And I think, I'm sorry to bring Gandhi again, but I think Gandhi was such an evolved being that he had truly learned that part of peace and violence. Okay, that never, on any situation, you can fight anything with violence. That just doesn't work that way. So, to me, I mean, some say he was a hoax, some say he was not like that, some say he was a shield. Say whatever you want. But for me, he, Rumi, the Persian poet, and several other figures to history, in my opinion, truly got it that you are supposed to behave in a way. And the test here is that we are in a very difficult test. I want to say that we fail continuously. We all fail continuously. And we just need to get back on the course and try to get it someday. Sorry, I went very deep. Tony.
Oh, my God.
Tony?
Thank you.
Yes, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Right. Where am I? Let me think. Look, don't think. That's the problem. I just see it as I live my life according to my conscience. So the theme, is it forgiveness, expectation? Yeah, I try and keep it short. It's like I don't understand books or laws or rules. I read them, I understand them cognitively, but I don't hold on to them. They're baggage. I go by how I feel. My conscience tells me what you did there was wrong, and I feel bad about it. So I don't need to have a dogma or a belief system or anything. It's how I feel. So I navigate life by how I feel. And if I've upset someone, I suffer. Believe me, my conscience is like a raw nerve. I can't sleep at night. I'm one of those people. You know, I upset someone at a party, or I went back next morning to like my ex's sisters and her boyfriend and the kids. And I had a few drinks. And I went in the next morning with a box of chocolates and some flowers. I said, I upset. And the guy went, no, you didn't. What are you talking about? He was all right. I went, well, take him anyway. And I went home. I couldn't sleep all night. It's ridiculous. But that's my conscience. And I don't listen to books or theories or belief systems. I keep it really simple. Stay in the present. Don't go upstairs and think about anything, because that keeps it all alive. And I think forgiveness is by you living your life in the present and paying attention to what life's showing you, is how we learn to overcome. And I've made a new word here, de-resonate from trauma, or de-resonate from people and what they've done to us. So my solution is just simple. Live from my conscience, pay attention to life in the moment. Because that gives us all we need to, it's an expression on someone's face. Oh, that wasn't good, what you've done. And I see that in the moment, and it's, or maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's all in the moment. So I can't deal with books, dogma, belief systems. For me, that's just too much. And life gives you what you need to evolve, and no books required. That's neat. Simple.
Yeah. So that's as simple as it gets, yeah. And that requires empathy, of course. And some people don't have empathy, so
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it depends on what people have done and whether they're genuinely sorry. And forgiveness is a very personal thing as well, of course.
Yeah.
So
I think you need to be open to all aspects of life that you're living, and be aware of your own, not other people's necessarily. You be aware of it and how it affects you, but realise that, okay, they've changed, or I didn't see that side to them, and it don't resonate with me. I don't agree with that, so I'm moving on. I'm going my way. They're not what I thought they were. So, and you can only see that in the moment. If you're in your head booking holidays and schemes and pensions and what we're going to do and what we're going to buy, you're missing the person in front of you. And that is this thing. It keeps you hostage. It keeps you blindfolded when you thinking is the problem. And like I say, Alex a lot. My granddad, he couldn't read and write, but he had a business in Jamaica. He was a haulage business, many lorries. He was so wealthy. Came here, became a labourer, carrying boxes in a factory. Had nothing, but he was the wisest man I knew, and he was present. He didn't read books. He believed in God, but he was always present. He didn't expect much. He didn't look forward to things. He was always present. And that's why I think I'm who I am, being in his company. I don't look forward. I don't have a plan. I don't have a dogma. I don't have a belief. I stay in the moment. And it's that simple, Yeah. So I don't know how to put it any other way. People don't believe me when I say to them, I don't have plans. I don't believe in anything. I used to. That's when I was a lunatic. That's when I was a crazy person. Now I'm not. I don't listen to people who tell me their books and their theories. I don't want to know. I'm happy. I'm not miserable anymore because I don't use this. I don't go up there. That's what keeps it all alive.
Yeah. Fair enough. Sounds like a good way to be.
Ginny, you mind if I say something?
No, go for it.
Okay. Yes, Tony, I agree totally with you. As you were saying that was resonating inside me, and I want to clarify how my feelings on what you were saying. What I believe, Tony, is all your memories are here in your inner compass, in your heart resonator, in your inner guide, your divine connection. That's your true memories, okay? That's your true learning. That's your true maturity, okay? Nothing is in your brain. Your brain is just a tool in this reality, has the memories of this reality. We have agreed for many shows now that it's poison beyond reparation. It's really something that it's like you have an enemy in your head and you say, yeah, I know you're there, but well, I'm going to deal with you day after day after day. So
Yeah.
what you're saying is exactly different words of what Vinny and I are saying. I think we're saying the same thing all three, but in different expressions. That you go with you, okay? You go with your inner feeling, okay? You go with, if something feels right, not you think is right, feels right,
That's
then
it.
most of the times it feels right. Something feels wrong, also most of the times that's something to avoid. About this forgiveness thing, also in abusive relationships, is mainstream information that the abuser will constantly ask for forgiveness. Okay, so if he's abusing you physically, he will, for example, a man to a woman, and he hits you. Okay, he puts you a black eye or whatever. And then, I'm sorry, I got crazy for a second. I was wrong. Whatever justification, I'm stressed out because of the bills, because of the money, because of my job. My boss pushes me, and then you forgive that. I'm not saying you shouldn't forgive again. I'm saying in that case is forget and move on. Okay.
Yeah.
So wish them the best. Wish them they figure it out. Wish them send all your love and light and move on from the relationship. Because in a week, in a month, he's gonna hit you again and he's gonna apologize again. So is an apology that way similar to what I share of confession? So I do something bad. I know I have my priest. I call them up. I need a confession. Yeah, come on to the church. So I go there. I confess. He gives me a penalty. I pay the penalty, whatever that is. Sometimes it's praying. Sometimes it has to do with even monetary things. Leave some money for the church, and or do something. Donate some. They say that donate some money or something, and that is gonna fix it. The summation. So same here. I'm gonna hit you, but I'm gonna apologize for it. You're gonna forgive me, and we're all good. And next week I can hit you again. And next week I can hit you again. I'm gonna apologize 100 times, and you're gonna forgive me 100 times. So I don't want to come on as you shouldn't ask for forgiveness or you shouldn't give forgiveness. Yes, it works in a way that is truly going forward, works for you, okay? So if someone comes, and I've got issues with friends being drunk, that they start shouting and they lose their temper. There's not even need, I mean, you understand that. There's not even need to ask for forgiveness. And some yes, and some no. And I've done it as well. I want to share, okay? And the day after happens that you say, hey, I'm sorry, I really got drunk. I lost my temper. Nothing happened. So you forgive, but you continue. In this case, you continue the relationship. If they hit you, if they abuse you, if they spoke about your family in a way, maybe something that is beyond, above and beyond, you can say, sure. But then you stop talking to the person, okay? You move on. Because you say, this person is just too toxic to handle. He's not really a friend, okay? He's not really a friend. So that's what I'm going to share. You decide if you kind of, but I don't see forgiveness as something necessary in that case. I just explained it. Two friends, they get a temper. They're still friends. There's no forgiveness needed. Okay. You're not going to forget. But even if someone asks you for forgiveness and they wave above and beyond, okay, they offended your children or something like that, you're going to say, sure, don't worry about it. It's forgotten. It's not really it's forgotten. I've already forgotten about it. But I'm not going to deal with you anymore. Okay. You're out of my life. Because that's how you transmute, in my feeling, is, again, I'm not saying anyone what to feel, what to do. In my opinion, in my feeling, that's how you transmute this negative energy to neutral. Another example, you hate your job, your boss is awful. There are many jobs out there, okay? I know we all need money. Find another job slowly. I mean, work on the project of finding another way of support yourself so you move on from that job. Because to expect that people are going to change, going back to expectations, that's unreasonable. Okay. People are not going to change for you, for no one. Okay. People are like they are. And if they are belligerent, and if they are hurtful, and if they are narcissists, and if they are negative, if they are all that, if they're going to change, I'm going to refrain from what I just said. Yes, they're going to change. Only because they change themselves. I mean, the only person you can change is yourself. You cannot change anyone else, okay? Not even your children, not even your parents, not even anyone. So if these people are going to change, the change is going to come within. It's not going to come because you ask for it. It's not going to come because they care for you. It's not going to come because of that. So the possibilities, you are in a bad relationship and the person is going to change, very low. If you're in a job that you're uncomfortable and your coworkers or the job itself is not good for you, and that's going to change, that's very low. So how do you fix that? By moving on. You end the relationship. You say, I send, I wish you the best because I don't wish you ill. I wish you the best. I wish you truly get it. And I move on to being alone and then maybe being in another relationship in the future. Okay. That's how I feel it, guys. I'm sorry. I cannot say it in a different way.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. I mean, you know, some people go out of their way to seek revenge and all that sort of stuff. No, that's not going to work either. It's just, as you said, Alex, just if you want to forgive them just in your own head, whatever, but with those sorts of things, just walk away if you can. Just walk away and heal, and then you can start again. Yeah. Because there's no...
go ahead. Sorry, Jim.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just going to say, people like that aren't going to ask for forgiveness, obviously. You know, and there's no point in going up to someone like that and saying, well, I'm going to forgive you and send you love, because they'll just think, oh, that sucker. That's obvious.
They are never wrong.
You just walk away. Yeah, exactly.
They feel they're never wrong. They feel you are the one that is wrong.
Yeah,
they feel you are the one that doesn't deserve them. They feel superior to you. Many things going on. Yeah. So no, that's why I say in the case. I mean, it came to me when Tony mentioned the chocolates and that. That's a perfect case that I truly agree with. And I asked for forgiveness because I've been wrong. I've been belligerent. I blew a casket. I had situations through my life that I had to go back to whoever I maybe shouted to or something and say, you know what, that was a momentary thing. I'm not really like that. I'm honestly saying that. And the person says, I know it's not necessary. I know it was a moment. So don't worry, no harm done. And we're still friends. But what I'm trying to say is when this is repetitive, when this is beyond, because there's a limit, okay, of what you can handle, okay? When it's beyond, then even if that happens, hey, I'm sorry, I hit you or whatever. Thanks, but I don't wanna go on like that. Okay. So it all goes within. How comfortable do you feel? I think sometimes you have to stop because your mind is gonna tell you all kind of things. Revenge, violence, all of that is in your mind. Okay. Yeah. If you stop that and you go to your heart is just gonna say move on. Maybe not even send love and light. That's kind of implied. And that's when you move on, because you love all the universe, you love everyone. So that's not even necessary even to say. Maybe it's just a nice thing to say when you are moving on from someone, saying, hey, I wish you the best. Because you truly do. So maybe the person's gonna feel it. That's a hypocrite thing to say. No, I wish you the best. Because again, I don't wish anyone bad, so how will I wish you something bad? No, I wish you the best. Same, by the way, as everyone. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Tony.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
It's like you say, agree totally with what both you saying. We're all resonating on the same frequency. People that do us wrong, who are unrepentant and narcissistic, just part ways with them because they're not on our frequency. But the thing about don't think it through, don't analyze it up here. It's so important because it's like Bruce Lee keeps coming to me in a film Enter the Dragon. He uses a little scene where he says to this kid, hit me. And the kid does it. He's got to watch this little scene. And he says to him, don't think, feel. And it's like, don't think, feel, use your conscience. And that's how I live. I always have done. It's just, I got trapped up here from school for a little while. And then I realised, now I'm not buying it anymore. But it's that thing of, you go to where you gravitate to where you feel comfortable. And I grew up in this system and I got involved with, people in my state, my mates, and pubs and drinking and all the rest of it. But it wasn't me. And I eventually started to feel instead of think. And I thought, no, I don't feel right about this. I don't want to do that. And it took a strength of character to step away from my mates. And then it was really quite, it was over a long period of time, but I felt like a traitor. Like, oh, they're my mates. I grew up with them. I'm ditching them. But they was into sorts of things like drugs, drink, and all the things that I didn't want to be involved in. But I'd been there and I wanted to move on. And it was a strength of my character or not thinking that made me feel more. And then going by my conscience. And it was a strength that came through of, no, I'm doing me. I'm not doing them. I'm doing me. And it was compassionate. It wasn't, you guys are nasty, you're horrible. I still love my mates, they're all grown up with them. But I'm not going to go down them dark roads, and some of them are not even here anymore. And something in me pulled me away from that and started to tell me, no, feel about this. What do you feel about this? Is it right? Go with that. Don't. And it wasn't even cognitive. I was too young to even understand why I felt I'm going this way. I live throwing stones at an old house, breaking the old house's windows. And I'm like, no, I'm not throwing nothing. I'm going over there. It was just in me to be myself and feel, not think. And it's a sequence of relationships and people you meet and stages where you have to be truthful to yourself and whatever the consequences. And it always turns out for the best, honestly. Trust me, I'm 56. I've lived through so many things. I said to Alex the other day, I've lived for about 5 lifetimes in this lifetime. Honestly, you would not believe what I've been through. And I've stuck to my conscience, and it always works out. It's like something, the universe, God, he puts you right up to the wire, your nose to the danger, and then he goes, pulls you out of it. It's like, how did I get out of that? It's because I was true to myself. And I'm speaking personally for myself, and I've lived it, and it's proven to me there is a source, a universal energy that is intelligent and all powerful. And with this, if we tap into that and be ourselves and our conscience, we can't lose. I sound like another rant on here, but that's what.
No, because when you go against your own conscience, you do get into trouble. It never ends well, you know.
No.
So you might as well not do it, you know.
Yeah.
Stick to your own truth, stick to your path. And we have to leave people behind. That's if we evolve differently to them, you need to leave people behind.
Yeah. And like Alex said, you still love them, you still wish them well. Yeah. But, sorry, Judy. I think it's just being true to yourself, follow your conscience, feel, not think, do what you know is right. And we're all saying the same thing. But yeah. That's right. Yeah. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah. No, totally agree. That's part of the role.
I'm not sure because I'm recording this on my cell phone, so I don't have any information here of how long we have gone, but it feels a while now. So it has gone fast.
About an hour, I think. Yeah.
So maybe just in closing, you wanted to touch. I think it's kind of related on the topic of suicide. I think that maybe we can later do a show that expanding that because that's a topic on its own.
It's big,
but I do believe you had some something you want to talk about that. So I'm glad because it's an interesting topic and it's something that has a bad connotation, but what I think as any topic, I mean, this week we're pre-recording this is gonna go on like 2 weeks from now because I have a few shows already prepared, but and I'm leaving on holiday next week, so there are gonna be any shows. So there's a topic I think we can just explain our feelings on that because it's a topic that usually gets a bad connotation, gets related to depression, gets related to, you know, something like abuse in a way or something like that takes people to suicide. And I have kind of a different take on it, but do you want to share what you were intending with that, wanting to talk about suicide?
Yeah, well, I think I don't judge people who take their own lives because I've sort of seen that. Well, I didn't do it, obviously. But until you get to the place where you know what that pain and despair is like, it's hard to understand what that person must be going through to do that, you know. And as far as the soul's journey is concerned with that, it's like if you believe we have many lives, just say last life I was a murderer. Maybe in this life, the person who takes their life, that was what the soul wanted to experience. Maybe that was the soul's journey.
That's an excellent take.
You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Interesting.
But people who kill their kids and then kill themselves, no, that's a different kettle of fish. But
it's
it's
happening a lot here lately. Two cases in the last week.
That's another thing altogether.
Kill their kids, kill their spouse, and then kill themselves.
It reminds me of that ghost story, that lady, Alex, you know, the one who threw her kids in the
La Llorona.
Her kids. Yeah. It's like, no.
Exactly like that. But she was, the concept of La Llorona, she was through a heartbreak, through an affair of a husband.
Yeah. So
she went crazy for a second.
why would that make you kill your kids? I mean, she obviously
Nothing.
wants
No,
lots
no,
to
no, no.
hide.
It's
Like,
beyond.
people, yeah, people go insane, I guess, you know, and that's a different thing
That's
again. But I
that's the only
don't,
explanation.
Thinking.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. But I don't judge people who take their own lives, broadly speaking, okay? Because I, to a degree, understand that pain.
Yeah.
So
We don't know enough about the person, do we, in their situation?
no,
So we can't really judge. We think we can judge. That's the system. It tells us on the news, this person committed suicide, and your train is late now. The evil person for making you late for your train. It's like, what kind of angle is that? Give me
yeah.
a break. But we talk that rubbish. We don't know the person. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean, no one wants to be in that amount of pain. I can guarantee it. So, yeah, it's yeah.
I got an email from a viewer last year. I don't think this viewer is still alive. He was in stage 4 cancer. Okay. Unless it was a hoax. Okay. Again, I need to clarify myself over and over. If someone say someone pull your chain, maybe okay, but you know, he told me he had stage 4 cancer. He seemed genuine, and it was because I've done some episodes on death, on the concept of the light, and I don't think it has to do with this show, so I'm not gonna. Those videos are last year. If you want to look at them, this concept that the light is bringing us back here for another round and another round. So I think something resonated with him, that he felt, hey, I want some more information, okay, because I see that close. But then as we exchanged like 3 emails, and he then said, I'm so much pain that how about suicide? Will that affect me with my passing? Okay, that was the intention of the question. Okay,
Oh, really?
I'm sorry, that's my dog. She's here with me. I know when she's crying, but if you hear it, Monina. So sorry, she's distracting. So so this person was interested about my opinion on suicide. Okay, so I said, and I stand same as violence. Okay, suicide, I see it that you're interfering with yourself. Okay, so in essence, it's again, and I need to explain this. Give me some time, some rope here. In essence, it's like healing. Okay, but you're killing yourself. So you're interfering with an experience. So there's karma and trauma. It's kind of strange, but it's karma and trauma on the same being. Okay. So in a way, then the trauma is clear by forgiving yourself for interrupting that experience. There is a school of thought that our day of death is already marked. That's a soul contract, okay? And that's why some kids die unexpectedly from a rapid illness. 1 month, 15 days, they're gone. Because that was the sole intention of this life. Sometimes they say when that happens, it's a message to the parents. Okay? They have to look at something. Okay? So in a way, it was like a martyr that said, I'm going to have a short experience. And that's the contract, because I need to show my parents in this experience something. Okay? So it's such a difficult, we can do a show on suicide because I said to this person, I don't understand your pain because I never felt it. So if he says, I cannot think, I'm sure stage 4 cancer pain is something above and beyond. So did he, when I went with the suicide, he was looking at assisted suicide and stuff like that. I don't know. Did he pass naturally? I don't know. I stopped receiving emails from him. But I had to give my opinions. I cannot say, yeah, go ahead. I said, I believe when you are committing suicide, you're committing an interference to yourself. Just be aware it's something, I mean, you are not gonna be in the gates of hell forever. That doesn't work that way. That doesn't even exist, okay? It's something you're gonna have to deal with, okay? And maybe it was a test, as you say, Ginny. I do believe there are tests, and sometimes the test is that, is we fail it, and then the universe presents us the opposite or something to kind of eventually get it, how we see it. Am I gonna not think of suicide if I have stage 4 cancer, if I'm under deep depression? No, probably yes. I'm even probably could go ahead and do it. I'm conscious of the pain that can cause you to think of that. I'm just need to be honest. I'm sorry if I offend someone or something, that I do believe is an act of interference, okay, to yourself. Essentially, same as killing someone, but the only difference is you kill yourself, and you are not fulfilling that contract you came here for, which is a purpose. Okay, as you say, Jeannie, there's a
Maybe-
purpose for your life,
Maybe
and you're
it's a
stopping it.
contract, though.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe that's the
You know what I
test.
mean?
Maybe
It's
that
not
was the
a-
contract.
Yeah,
Maybe that was the
I
contract.
don't
You're
know.
right. You're totally right. You're totally right. Again, I need to clarify. I'm open to being wrong on everything. These are feelings, so
No,
how could
it's
they be
just
right?
opinion. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I'm not
it's
going
just-
to. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
But I think it's a very great subject because certainly it's something very personal, and some people are deeply depressed. I do believe there's chemistry of the body involved in that. Some people are lacking some minerals or some chemicals. There's no way depression they want to pinpoint and that is something totally organic and natural. I do believe there's something else going on. And I do believe some people self-medicate depression with drugs and with some other things that kind of evens out this state. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a very interesting subject. I just had that experience last year. Then someone else that, in a similar situation has evaluated the possibility of throwing himself from a bridge and stuff like that and shared that with me. I share the same thing. Suicide is not an option now. There's other things like financial stress, okay? In this reality, we need air and we need money, okay, to survive. Yes, there's this school of thought that you could go on the wheel out there and survive by fishing, and that's really unlikely. So in practicality, we need air and we need money. So when money is lacking and you're suffering the effects of lack of money, that's also a possibility of evaluating the possibility of suicide. And who am I to say? Again, just my feeling is I believe it's an act of interference. But same as defending myself or my family, when I'm in that bridge, I'm maybe gonna go against what I'm saying and be a human and commit suicide or defend myself with violence or something else. So please don't take it like I'm just saying what my heart tells me. But when presented on the situation, I'm most probably gonna react differently, okay? Because it's so difficult. So I respect that pain. I respect that for someone to be thinking of suicide because of pain, physical pain, it has to be a lot of pain. Okay? And I've heard the stories from cancer that late stage cancer is extremely painful, extremely painful. So yes, of course you can think of ending it. Okay?
Yeah, I mean that's not living. No one should have to go through that, in my opinion. You know.
No,
Yeah.
again, yes. It's such a difficult situation. I wish in that situation, for example, death will come naturally. Okay, you go to sleep and you don't wake up anymore, and just because you are not living. Okay, when you're suffering like that, it's very difficult, and that puts that duality that we're a body and we're a spirit. So in that case, the flesh is interfering so much. It's really taking so much of you that you are not living anymore. Okay. So what's the point? The experience seems redundant anymore. So that's why I'm not wishing death on the person, but I can assure you the family members, and it has happened recently, an acquaintance passed of cancer. Last year, a very good friend passed of cancer, rapid late stage cancer on both cases. And the family after the passing is relieved. Okay. Is relieved. It's amazing. It's relieved. It's said she stopped suffering. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have any idea how the face, the physical expressions of the pain. Okay, they are morphine most of the time. They are not really. They keep them asleep basically, so they don't suffer. Okay?
Yeah.
So imagine for the family, of course you're gonna be sad, but in a way you're also relieved. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I
Tony?
should be in a bit. I could say
Yes.
just short. Like, we can only live our own lives with the information at our disposal. Like, for me, it's like information. It drip feeds into my consciousness. So I could read a book about soul or finance or anything, and it's absorbed into my consciousness for reference later on. So it depends on my knowledge base if my knowledge base is the TV and newspapers, I'm going to be a pretty negative person. If my knowledge base is different walks of life, rare paths and spiritual matters, health foods, different things, I'm going to have a different level of positivity. So what I consume becomes my quality of life. And then that pays dividends later on because it informs me, it informs my life. So what I have at my disposal, the information I have at my disposal is what I've consumed previously, if you get me. And I just wish people would, sorry, I'm beating the same drum again, switch off mainstream media, TV, radio, newspapers, turn your back on it and start living your life, because this is all the trauma that we live through: suicide, depression, drug addiction, alcoholism. It's a symptom of this negative system. And I think our own lives are informed by our consumption, intellectual and physical. And we have to live it according to our conscience and your intuition. Say, oh, this chocolate tastes nice, but I feel sick after I've eaten it. Pay attention to that. Stop eating it. Watch the movie on the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exciting, but I feel agitated now. We'll stop watching it. Don't carry on watching it. And I think it's like I've lived it, I've done that, I've pushed it away, and I just feel more relaxed and happy and easygoing than I used to, much more. And I consume better quality knowledge, better quality company, better quality food. So it does work. You become a better person. I avoid negative people. I avoid that energy of negative. Yeah, I wish them well, but I don't want to know. Turn my back on them. I'm not interested. And I gravitate to what I feel is more in tune with me. And I fine tune my own path by being around positivity, people that want to know the truth. This is positive. We're truly positive people and truth seekers. And what we're putting out is an anti the system, anti-negative. So, yeah, however it comes across, and I'll try and do my best. I'm not Shakespeare, but don't think, feel. Live your own conscience and live your own life. That's the key. Live your own life. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Sorry, I've been talking a bit.
It'd be great if everyone did shut off the news and, yeah. Anyway.
It would be great.
Yeah.
I think me and Alex talk about it a lot. We're always on the same topics, which is good.
And yeah, go ahead, Tom.
That's it. No, we agree on this stuff, don't we?
Yes, we do, and I agree. And actually, I think that's happening. Okay, there is a lot going on. That the situation of the world right now depends on. You could see it anyway from extremely negative to very positive. Okay, and that's how it depends on what you look at. Okay, and I do believe that, and I share the story with Tony of someone, Ginny, out there in the comments of Waking the Future, that last year was in one way. Let's just leave it at that. And this year I saw him on a different channel, just being a different person. It almost felt like a hack account, okay? But no, it was not hacked. I mean, I believe what happened to this person of saying, I stopped paying attention to this. I stopped wanting to be negative. I stopped, what if I'm fueling this by being like that, okay? What if I'm fueling this reality? I'm throwing gasoline to the fire by being like that, by endorsing that. And I'm not gonna say, because then I'm gonna have to take it out of everything that is going on in the world. All this mainstream and alternative news, especially alternative news, by the way. These things of everything that is going on, everything, and they keep you riled up, like in a constant state of alert, a constant state of negativity, a constant state of be ready to fight. Then you think about it, and it makes sense. The ones that say, is that Moxie calls it allowed opposition, maybe not controlled opposition. They're not controlled, but they are allowed to exist because they're fulfilling this intention of keeping us always on the edge, of keeping us that we're ready to fight, and keeping us all these things that they are just fueling this reality. How this person said something along these lines of how about I stop paying attention to that and I stop paying attention to my family, to my friends, to myself, to thinking positive things, to being in the moment, as Tony says. And if I see any negativity, I transmute it to neutrality by forgetting about it. That's the recipe. Okay, there's no you're not gonna change the essence of that. You're gonna change the effects on you, because anything that happens to you through your past lives, future lives, this life, you have three choices: negative, neutral, or positive. But you have the choice. Okay. Now, sometimes it's a very tall ask, extremely. If you're seeing someone being offended or someone being belligerent, to transmute that to positive, I think I still don't see it. It's possibly Jesus Christ or someone like that could do it. I see, be easy on you and just transmute it to neutral by not paying attention to it. You're out there in some comment section and someone is belligerent to you. Thank you. Have a good day. This person is going to be like, some take it the wrong way and say, are you joking? I just offended you and you thank me. Yes. Because I'm not caring, because I'm moving on, because I already forgotten about your attempted insults. Okay. They only work for you. I'm not vibrating in your energy. Okay. So we have to understand. Sorry?
Not engaging.
Exactly, Tom. Not partaking, not engaging, not
giving it energy.
Exactly.
And
so
not giving them attention.
and that goes back to relationships. They can hurt you as long as you allow them.
Yeah.
Not more. So okay, you're hurting me. You're trying, you don't love me anymore. You wanna, okay, you know what? I have to, sorry about that. I got a message on my phone. I have to change and move on from you, okay? And it's perfect, Sonny. So some see it, I want to clarify, some see it as a defeatist attitude. Someone told me recently that this is an attitude of that maybe I'm the gatekeeper sharing this and others of this attitude, this kind of new age attitude of loving and that. So we don't fight them, okay? We know who. I'm not going to say it again because every word I say is AI takes it. So we fight them, they, or whatever. Has it really worked in humanity's history to fight it? Okay, that's debatable, I think. I believe the solution is within, and the solution is not partaking, and the solution is when we all stop fueling this reality, of course a new reality is going to come along. And then we're going to set the rules. And then I think things are going to be truly better, okay? I just don't see any point anymore to partaking, to really, because we all know what's going on. I see this, I laugh when I see titles of videos of the Truther movement and this is going on and that is going on. We all know what's going on. And it's coming, for some that they don't watch these videos, it's coming intuitively, okay? They know. But for me, the way I see we're winning, guys, is when I talk to people and they are mainstream people and they are not on the platforms, they are not watching these videos, they don't watch my channel at all. Some of them, they don't know about my channel. And I see a change, like this person. Okay? They say, you know what? I don't want to get in fights anymore. You know what? I used to have fights with my wife about money, about this, about that. I move on from that. I try to be, I try to find middle ground with her, and we're just in such a much better relationship now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I used to be hard on my children. Now I just want them to learn, to make their own mistakes, not to be perfect soldiers. Like we want our children sometimes to be this, and they make a mistake and we're, they make mistakes. Okay, they make mistakes. So I see all this change, and this change is coming within, because I truly believe we have a universe in us, and we have a connection to the Creator in us, and it's the way that the Creator is saying that was always there, but you were looking elsewhere. I was here, and you were looking that way. And now suddenly people are saying, no, I want to look into that. I want less flesh, more spirit. Okay, I want less materialism, more spirituality. I see it, and that's not coming because of channels. Certainly not coming because of the channel or whoever you can tell me, and that's not coming because of the Truther movement. That has nothing to do with that. That's coming within. Okay, and I'm truly believe that.
Yeah, it's the only way to be truly happy, all the outside stuff. Well, it can make you happy for a while, I guess, but you know what I mean. Peace.
No,
We have to find peace
totally
regardless of what's going on. That's the big
Yes.
lesson throughout all this, because we don't have the power, even if we wanted to fight. Who's got the power base? Not us little people.
How has that worked? Tell me any story situation that has worked.
Right.
No,
That's right. So, yeah.
Tony, on ending, because my phone just informed me that my battery is about to die. So, so if we don't stop before that, I'm not sure about the recording. So,
yeah, I think Jeannie's topic was great. Expectation, forgiveness, and I think we forgive. We expect too much anyway by the negative media mainstream. You must have a new car. You must have a new phone. You must all that stuff. And then we were told how to forgive. You know, go to confession or just say sorry. Give them a £10 note, $10 note, and so yeah, it's done. No, you have to live your life in accordance with how you want to be treated, your conscience, and yeah, forgiveness. And it's not you don't just flick a switch and it's done. That's what they want us to believe. It's a process by living your life with the right intentions, and then over time you don't resonate with negativity and harm and trauma. You don't feel that that person that hurt you. You think, yeah, I wish them well. Truly wish them well. They're in a bad place because you're living your life present and conscious and with conscience. And life teaches us how to overcome things by just being present and not engaging in negativity. So yeah, the expectation, forgiveness, it's all, we evolve by being present and living our own lives. That's how I see it. And thank you, Jeannie, for the topic. Very good.
Oh, no worries. It's interesting stuff. Yeah,
good.
Been great.
Thank you, Jeannie. Do you have anything for us in closing?
Oh, just be true to yourself. Be true to yourself, people. That's the best.
Excellent. I totally agree. Everything. My 2 cents here on my closing will be, everything is through you. Okay. If I ever come, like I'm sharing some pearls here, no. At the most, I'm sharing breadcrumbs, okay, to get you interest. I'm talking to the person watching now, to get you interest on looking for your answer. So Joel from Waking the Future says it beautifully. Don't believe anything that Tony said. Don't believe anything that Jeannie said. Certainly don't believe anything that I said. Find your own truth. And some people claim that that's the concept of truth, and there's only one. That's submission, okay? There's only one that's submission, because then what does it mean? What I feel doesn't matter. My intuition doesn't matter. My inner compass not working. I need to submit to this truth. That's submission, okay? Of course, they want us to believe there's only one truth, because then we don't go and look for the really important one inside us, which is your inner compass. That one that's going to steer you on every situation, this relationship, this situation, this and that, is always perfect. It's always spot on. And I want to just share an analogy that planes have multiple compasses, depending on the size of the plane, because some will work and some will not. So of course, if they're all working, they're pointing to the same heading, okay? Which is extremely important when you're flying. So think of your brain like a second compass of your heart. And if your brain is pointing that way and your heart is pointing that way, I'm gonna like in different headings. So think about a second there and follow your heart, okay? Because the second compass is not working. So you can validate your brain. You're thinking something, and then you say, okay, let me look at my heart compass. No, brain is not agreeing with you. The one that is right is always your heart. If you follow your heart, you follow yourself, you're always going to be right. Doesn't matter whatever someone, and I'm including the channel, whatever someone says, doesn't matter. Follow your heart. Thank you, guys. I need to stop this here to make sure it gets recorded. So I'm sorry about rushing you at the end. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and please stay for the last 2.5 minutes of the show. Thank you.
Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time, through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.